not in school today?
Well, all the 8th grade and a lot of 7th grade, we devised a walkout to support our teachers, and so we left during second hour at about 9 o'clock, and we walked down to the West High School, and then we walked down to the Capitol. We've been here all day just supporting our teachers and supporting our families.
That was a student today showing up in protest in solidarity with the teachers in Madison, Wisconsin. Welcome back to the Ed Show in Norfolk, Virginia tonight. I'm proud to be back where I grew up and went to school here at Maury High School with the faculty and the students from my old high school. We'll visit with them later on this evening. Back in Madison today, students organized walkouts to protest Governor Scott Walker's budget repair bill. Less collective bargaining rights for teachers means these kids, these students, and all the 800,000 public school students of Wisconsin, they're basically losing out. 2 Madison High School students have started a Facebook page calling for a nationwide student walkout tomorrow at 2 o'clock to show solidarity with Wisconsin workers. The Nation's John Nichols tonight is telling us that well over 100,000 protesters might show up in Madison this weekend. Joining me now, outside the Capitol, is John Nichols of The Nation magazine. John, great to have you with us tonight. Another historic day in your home state. When will the governor sign this bill? He said that he was going to sign it at record legal pace tonight, but that didn't happen. Is he trying to get another day's worth of news coverage out of this? What's going on?
Actually, Ed, I think he may be trying to talk to a couple of constitutional lawyers to figure out whether he could sign it without getting in trouble. The fact of the matter is this bill was passed with a massive amount of legislative irregularity and some of what looks like illegality. You've had guests on talking about that already. But my suspicion is, in fact, my expectation is, the governor is huddling with his lawyers to figure out whether he should put the pen to this thing.
So you view this as the governor thinking he may not be on solid legal ground tonight. So where does the legal fight go from here when you've got an attorney general who has accepted a petition from the assembly leader, Mr. Barca, but the attorney general's a Republican? I mean, this, Johnny, this has got politics written all over it. What about it?
Well, look, Ed, you're exactly right. There's politics everywhere in this thing. But the fact of the matter is that our state constitution rests the responsibility for oversight of wrongdoing in the Capitol with the Dane County District Attorney. And that's the district attorney from this area in Madison. So there can be actions brought from here. And I want to also tell you, Ed, that labor lawyers have a stake in this as well. If this law was passed illegally, when they ask for an injunction from a judge, what they can say is, look, you have to stop the implementation of this law because it was not passed according to the rules, laws, and regulations of the state of Wisconsin.
John Nichols, doesn't this underscore that what the Democrats did by leaving the state and the law being where it is right now, doesn't this really guarantee the recalls? I mean, in the long run, isn't this good for the Democrats to have this? Because if they get the power back, they can always reverse this law. The fact of the matter is, if they want to get the Republicans out of there, they need people motivated. And what the governor is about to do is going to give them all the motivation in the world for the recalls, don't you think?
You're absolutely right, Ed. And look, ultimately, Governor Walker is going to sign this bill. He has shown a determination to sign this bill no matter what and to move it forward. And when he does, I think reality is going to set in for an awfully lot of Wisconsinites, not just union workers, but people from across this state, that their governor was so determined to commit a political act that he didn't even consider the impact on the state. That's going to be a driving force for this recall. And I have to tell you, across this state, people are passing petitions tonight. There are carpenters and farmers, small business owners, and union members who are out in every town in a district that has a vulnerable Republican moving those petitions. And this weekend, with literally tens of thousands and maybe hundreds of thousands of people out across the state, that's going to give the numbers and the energy to get those signatures. I'm going to bet you come Monday morning that many of these senators are actually at that point of being ripe for recall. And this recall process moves quickly, Ed. It's not going to take forever to put these votes to the people. When that happens, we look at the possibility of a shift in control of the state Senate and the restoration of a system of checks and balances in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
John Nichols, I want to ask you one more question. If we can go back to that fake phone call that the Koch brother was involved in with the governor. The governor talked about protesters and the national media going away. Is that going to happen?
Well, look, the fact of the matter is the protesters have proven today that they're not going away. It was a pretty rough night last night. You can imagine if people said, well, we just can't fight the power. Instead, this morning they came by tens, by hundreds, by thousands. By midday today, it was easily more than 10,000, perhaps as many as 15,000 people on the square here in Madison. Not organized by anyone, just grassroots citizens who came out just like the Minutemen in 1776. Coming to their capital to petition for the redress of grievances.
John Nichols, Washington correspondent of The Nation, great to have you with us tonight, and as always, great reporting.